Hello everyone. A very good morning to all of you. First of all, thank you very much for taking your time amidst your busy schedule and joining today's workshop. And this is the sixth of a series of workshops on modernizing password self-service. Each workshop in this series will focus on a specific set of password self-service and IT self-service tasks and demonstrate how you can reduce help desk workload using AD Self-Service Plus. I hope this session will be of great use to deploy AD Self-Service Plus product effectively. So before getting into the topic, let me introduce myself. My name is Ramchand and I work in the marketing of the Manage Engine team and I will be taking today's workshop. I hope my voice is audible and the display is well and clear. If not, please let us know in the chat. The topic that we are going to see today is enabling different levels of password self-service for different users through OU and group-based configuration. So we'll see these 6 points today. So the first one would be configuring self-service features based on your organization's department. So let's take a look on how to do this. So I'm logging into AD Self-Service Plus admin portal as the admin. Now I head on to the configuration tab and choose policy configuration. So right now I have configured my domain AD360 and by default there will be a single policy for this domain with all the self-service features enabled for all the OUs and groups in the domain. So you can see this by clicking on the OUs and groups button. Now let's see how to configure self-service features based on your organization's department. For this I have this table over here. So let's consider our company has 4 departments: finance, developers, staff, and IT admins. So let's consider 2 users in each of these departments. So I'm going to configure a policy for each department. So now let's consider the finance department. I'm naming the policy as finance and I'm going to give the password reset, change, and self-update permissions for this policy. Now I need to go to OUs and groups and choose the OU finance for this. So I'm just selecting the OU finance with 2 users and I can click OK and I'm saving the policy. And I'm doing the same for the rest of the 2 departments. The first one being developers, and I'm going to give all permissions to the developers, and I need to select the OU developers from the list, and I'm saving this policy. And now we'll configure the next policy, which is staff, and I'm limiting the members of the policy belonging to the policy staff to just change their password and nothing else. So I'm going to select the OU for staff and I'm saving this policy. So okay, as in the table, let's consider IT admin a bit later. I'm just considering these 3 departments: finance, developers, and staff. So I have configured 3 policies, and for example, let's take the user Karishma, who belongs to the staff department. I have not given the permission to reset password for the staff department. So let's see what happens when the user tries to reset his password through AD Self-Service Plus. So I'm signing out of the admin. I'm trying to reset my password for the user Karishma, and the user would not be able to do this because the admin has restricted the user from resetting the password. Yes, you can see the message permission denied from the admin. So this is how the password self-service restriction works. So by using this, we can configure self-service features based on each department. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is configuring self-service for the organization's department. Now let's consider the second point, making self-service more secure for critical departments such as finance and IT. So let's see how this works. Now I'm logging into the admin portal again. I'm heading to the configuration tab and choosing policy configuration. Okay, now let's see how we can configure or make the department finance more secure than the other departments. For this, I need to head on to multi-factor authentication. So every user who uses AD Self-Service Plus need to enroll themselves to the product in order to access self-service features such as reset password, change password, self-update, etc. So since finance is a bit critical department, let's make the number of questions to be answered be 4. So members enrolling into the product from the finance department need to answer 4 security questions to enroll themselves. Also during reset password, they need to answer these 4 questions again to reset the password. And let's consider the number of characters for user-defined questions. It should be minimum 8 characters long. So I can save this policy. I've chosen finance from the policies and I'm saving this. So now let's see how this works. I'm trying to log in as a user. Okay, let's consider the user Reese from the finance department. So Reese is trying to log into the product. And once he logs in, he'll be prompted to enroll into the product. And we had changed the number of questions required to be 4. So now I'm heading to enrollment tab. And as you can see, there are 4 questions to be answered. So I'm just choosing 4 random questions for this. Okay, so I'm typing the mother's maiden name, just a sample name, and what is your favorite cousin name, which is John, childhood hero, just some random answers, and my favorite color. So now, as you can see, I won't be able to save because the answer is not between 5 characters. So I'm adding a Y to this name. Okay, now I'm trying to enroll the user. So a user from the finance department needs to answer 4 questions for enrolling. Now let's consider another user from the developer department. Let's consider Aaron, and he's trying to access the product, and he's going to enrollment tab, and you can see he just needs to answer 2 questions in order to enroll. So this is how we separate the criticality of the department and securing their self-service features. So red won't be allowed. So again, I'm trying black. So this is the second point which we saw, making self-service more secure for critical departments. So the department that you choose depends upon your company. And let's see other features for securing the self-service. So I can edit this, edit the policy for the finance department. I can head on to advanced button over here, and I can choose what are the options for this. So the number of invalid attempts, which we'll resume later. I can also head on to reset and unlock, and there are a variety of options to secure this policy for the users belonging to the policy finance. So I can allow the user to reset password only 2 times in 7 days, and also the password reset or account unlock idle time limit is 3 minutes for the users belonging to the finance department. And also I'm going to enforce Active Directory password history settings during password reset for these users. So once I do all this, I can save it, and I can save this policy. So by this way, you can secure critical departments using the policies from AD Self-Service Plus. Now let's consider the next point, enforcing a strong password policy for the IT administrators. So for this, we need to head on to the password policy enforcer. So first of all, we'll create a policy for the IT admins, add new policy. I'm naming it IT admins, and I'm giving them permission to all of these self-service features. And I'm selecting their OU, which is IT admins, and I'm saving this policy. So once this is saved, we can head on to the password policy enforcer and enforce password policy for the users belonging to IT admins policy. You can see there are 9 rules which are already configured. This was the topic that we saw in the previous workshop, enforcing password policy. So there is an option to add blacklisted passwords also, and you can add any number of common words that you do not want the users to use as password. And also I'm increasing the minimum password length to be 10, and I'm going to show this policy requirement in reset and change password pages. So now I'm saving this. So now it's saved. Also, we can configure multi-factor authentication for users. So let's consider the users belonging to the finance department, and I'm going to enable verification code for the users in the finance department. So what verification code means is, once the user tries to reset his password, he needs to answer the security questions by default. But once I enable verification code, he'll also need to enter the verification code, which will be sent to his email address or his mobile number or both. So for now, I'm just going to enable email address for verification code, and I'm using the default content which is already specified there, and I'm going to save it. Now let's see what happens to a user who tries to reset his password. The user Reese, who belongs to the finance department. Now I had enabled multi-factor authentication for the user Reese, and I'm trying to reset the password for Reese, and let's see what happens. He'll be prompted to select the mode of communication to send his verification code. So since I enabled multi-factor authentication, I'm seeing this option. So I'm going to choose send verification code to my email address, which is already specified in the Active Directory. And I just need to enter my CAPTCHA. I can also make both of these mandatory. That is, the user should answer his security questions and also use verification code. So now let's see. Yes, I have received the verification code. I'm just copying the verification code and pasting it here. I proceed on to the CAPTCHA code, and once this is success, the password will be reset automatically. You can also notice the time left for this operation. This used to be 5 minutes by default, but since we changed the time to 3 minutes only for the users belonging to the finance department, this happens. So now I need to enter my old password. So I'm entering my new password. So once this is done, I can just reset my password. So this is how we can secure users belonging to certain departments by enabling multi-factor authentication. Now we'll see the enforcing a strong password policy for IT administrators. Now let's consider the user. We have made a policy for the IT admins, and let's consider the user Jake and try to change his password by logging into the product. We enabled password policy enforcer for the users belonging to the OU IT admins. So let's see how this works. The user is already enrolled, which you can see from the enrollment tab, and I'm heading to the change password tab, and I'm going to change the password for the user Jake. Now you can see the new UI, which is different from the existing UI, which shows you the domain policy requirements. So this password requirements will be updated live. I'll show you this. Now as I type the password, you can see a tick mark near each policy, the policies that are satisfied by the requirements. So I'm going to use the word password at exclamation 23. So right now my password is password at exclamation 23. So as you can see, this contains more than 10 letters, and hence the minimum length rule is satisfied, and also it contains 2 special characters which is satisfied, must start with the letter, but it does not contain any uppercase letters, and hence this rule is not satisfied. And also it contains the blacklisted word password, which you can see from the list over here. The word password is abstained from being used as a password, so I cannot use it as a password. I'm changing it, so let's consider a different password, just a random one, and it does not contain 10 letters. Okay, now it's 10. I'm going to change my password. Okay, I typed it wrongly. I just need to ensure that I follow all the policies, and I'm trying to change my password. So now it will be a success since I satisfied all the policies listed over here. So now let's see what happens if a user who's not enforced with the password policy. So let's try the user Karishma belonging to the staff OU. So once she logs in, she'll see the old UI which just shows the domain policy requirements, and since password policy is not enforced for the users belonging to the staff OU. So this is how the third point works: enforcing a strong password policy to specific policies which is configured by the admin. Now let's see the fourth point: enabling managers and department heads to automatically unlock their accounts. So for this, we'll create another policy exclusive to managers in order to deploy this policy. So I'm naming it managers, and I'm going to give them the permission to unlock account, change password, and reset password. Now I need to choose the group. I had already created a group as shown in this table. The group is named managers, and it contains 4 users, 1 user from each of these 4 departments. So I'm searching for the group managers, and yes, here it is. I'm just choosing it and I'm saving this policy. So now our policy is ready, and users belonging to the managers policy can automatically unlock their account by using their identity verification or security question. So as a sample, we'll see the user Brian. Let's consider the user Brian. First, let me log in to the product to verify if he's enrolled, and if he is enrolled already, we can directly head on to account lockout, and I'll show you how this works. So by default, with 5 failed password attempts, the user will be logged out of his account. So I'm going to type a wrong password 5 times for the user Brian and make him get locked out of Active Directory. So I guess this is the 5th time. Yes. Now I'm unable to log on because my account has been locked out. So I can head on to account lockdown button in the welcome screen. I'm just typing my name, and once I log in, I'll be prompted to answer my security questions, which answered successfully will unlock my account. Now I'm typing the answers to my security questions which I had already given during enrollment. And once this is done, I just need to enter the captcha for the final time and I can unlock my account. So my account is unlocked so easily without pestering this help desk technicians or the IT admins on my own. So since the user Brian is a manager belonging to the group managers, we had assigned a policy previously, and based on this policy, the user has unlocked his account automatically without pestering the IT admins, hence reducing the workload for them. So this was the fourth point, enabling managers and other department heads to automatically unlock their accounts. Now let's come to the fifth point, set different account lockout thresholds and also lockout duration based on the criticality of the user's position. So we just showed you the user Brian who was logged out after entering his password incorrectly for 5 times. So 5 was the default count for account lockout, which you can see over here. Head on to policy configuration and click on edit, and under the advanced options there is the block user tab. So by default the maximum invalid attempts is 5 within 30 minutes, and also the user will be logged out for the next 30 minutes. And just for test purpose I can show you. I'm going to edit users belonging to the finance department, and I'm heading to the advanced tab. I'm going to change the invalid attempt to 2. So with just 2 invalid attempts, users belonging to the finance policy will be locked out of the locked out of their account. And I'm saving this policy. Also, let's see the developers who will be locked out of their account after 3 invalid attempts. You can also change the time to be 45 minutes. So 3 invalid attempts within 45 minutes and the user will be locked out of his account. And also block the user for the next 15 minutes. Okay, I'm saving this policy. Now let's see how this works. So for this I'm going to try the user Reese. I'm going to type password incorrectly. So this is the first time, and the user is being authenticated against the Active Directory. Now it's wrong. Okay, I'm trying for the second time, and again with an incorrect password. So the user should be logged out right now. Okay, I guess save the policy. I didn't save the policy. I'm heading back to the available policies. I'm changing the number of attempts, and let's see what happens right now. Okay, now again I'm entering an incorrect password for the user Reese, and he should be locked out. Yes, previously I didn't save my policy, or I saved the policy incorrectly. So as you can see, the user belonging to the finance department will be locked out of their account with just 2 invalid attempts. So this threshold can be changed by the admin by heading to the policy configuration tab. So, and this can be based on each policy. So we previously configured the users from developer OU to be locked out after 5 invalid attempts. So I'll just show you 2 invalid attempts for the user belonging to the developer OU. So even after 2 invalid attempts, the users from the developer OU won't be locked out because their policy is different from the users belonging to finance department. So you can head on to the advanced tab and you can change the number of attempts to any amount. So this is the fifth point that we saw, setting different account lockout thresholds and lockout duration based on the user's criticality. So now let's see the final point, controlling resultant set of self-service policies to apply to a particular user. So as you can see from this table, the users Jake, Watson, Brian, and Sean belong to the managers group and hence the managers policy, and they also belong to the department, specific department, finance or developers or staff or IT admins. Now I want the policies applied to these users to be applied above the departments. So how can I make use of this with AD Self-Service Plus? For this, I need to head on to the policy configuration tab again. Policy configuration option, and there is an option to prioritize policies just next to add new policies. I click this and I can just drag and drop managers above all other policies so that any rule applied to the manager's policy will be given more priority than the other policies. So by use of this, we can prioritize policies for users who belong to several or multiple policies. So I'm just heading again to edit the policy managers. Now I can change any one of the rule. Okay, I'll keep this as 7 for managers, and also within the next 50 minutes. So in a 50-minute time gap, only after 7 invalid attempts, users belonging to the managers group will be locked out. And there are a variety of options for policy configuration which you can explore in this advanced window. And you can automatically reset domain users passwords when they expire just for the users belonging to the managers group, and also notify via mail to the user that the user has successfully reset their password. So I'm saving this, and yes. So this is how you prioritize policies by using the prioritize policies button in the policy configuration screen. So that was the final point that we saw. So a quick recap of all the topics. The first one was configuring self-service features based on your organization's department. You are able to create multiple policies for departments, and based on their criticality, you would assign self-service features specific to each department. And the second was making self-service more secure by adding more security questions and also adding multi-factor authentication to specific departments such as finance and IT maybe. And the third one was enforcing a strong password policy for the IT admins alone. So this can be applied to any of the OUs, and you can also change the policy requirements for each OU. And the fourth was allowing managers to automatically unlock their accounts by just answering their security questions. And the fifth was setting different account lockout thresholds for different users belonging to different policies. This would be favorable for groups such as managers who does not need to be so stringent in locking out their accounts. And finally, we saw how to control resultant set of self-service policies by using priorities. So we were able to prioritize the policies with from just policy configuration screen. So thank you all for taking your time and listening to this workshop. I hope it will help you in effectively deploying AD Self-Service Plus in your organization. So this is the end of the series of workshop on modernizing password self-service by AD Self-Service Plus. So thanks for watching, and thanks for being a great audience. We'll let you know any future workshops to be planned. It will be sent as a mail to you. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to drop your questions in the chat box, or you can get in touch with us through email. The video of this workshop will be available online, and the same will also be shared with you. And also a feedback mailer will be sent to you, which is going to help us in improving the quality of the workshop. Please take a minute or two to fill up the form, which is going to be of great use to us. Once again, thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of the day.